Chapter 996. Fang Yuan cultivates his soul. Central continent, heavenly court, heaven overseeing tower lord. Give up. This immortal goo cannot be saved. Bai Chun Tian urged. Heaven overseeing tower lord did not answer this moment. His hands were ethereal, giving off a warm orange light. An immortal goo was nearly cut in half, but the orange light was sustaining its life. Its aura was strong at times, and weak at other times, being very unstable. Lin Jiusheng's face was full of concern. He was a refinement path great expert. In his opinion, this immortal goo was beyond saving. Even Lin Jiusheng could not save it if he tried. But Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord was insistent on trying. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord was in control of Heaven Overseeing Tower. He was a wisdom path goo immortal. Goo immortals who have reached his level could make use of aspects of other paths even if they only cultivated one path. Using it as the basis that a person at this level did not have shortcomings. He could use wisdom path to imitate the strength of other paths. And even due to taking an innovative approach, it could potentially surpass the original. Now, Lin Jiusheng could not help this immortal goo. But Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's wisdom path methods gave them some hope. Except that the method he was using, in the opinions of Lin Jiusheng and Bai Chun Tian, was too risky. If there were any errors, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord would face a strong backlash. His downmarks would go into chaos. Not only would he be heavily injured, he would not be able to use any immortal goo for the next 30 years. Otherwise his injuries would get more severe. Whoosh! Suddenly, from the immortal goo's body, an extremely sharp, formless burst of sword chi flew out. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord could not react in time, but thankfully, this formless burst of sword chi only scraped past his ears, cutting down a strand of his white-haired Bai Chun Tian was shocked. It's over. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's expression relaxed. He let out a breath of air, saying in a gratified tone, I pulled out the sword chi that was inside the immortal goo. It has been saved. Earlier, countless sword lights had burst out of falling heavenly river, rampaging over Central Continent Point. One of the extremely sharp sword lights, like in the previous life, penetrated heavenly court and cut Heaven Overseeing Tower into two. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord quickly recalled Bai Shui, Lin Jiusheng, and Bai Shui. The four immortals had a discussion, as Bai Shui headed to the riverbed of falling heavenly river, while the other three immortals repaired Heaven Overseeing Tower as it was being corroded by the sword chi, before its damage intensified. Soon, the immortal goo in Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's hands could be seen recovering rapidly under the orange light. Lin Jiusheng's eyes shined. He clapped and praised. Tower Lord, your ability to sacrifice your emotions to repair the immortal goo is truly an incredible wisdom path method. To think that you could really revive it, amazing. But why did you take such a risk? This is a rank 6 immortal goo. Heavenly Court's inventory is very abundant. We can refine it again easily. But if you got injured, you would not be able to do anything for 30 years. It would be an immense loss to Heavenly Court. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord shook his head, saying slowly, I don't know why, but recently, ever since the Refinement Path Convention started, I felt something wrong. It is as if a hidden danger is brewing. Once it strikes, the consequences will be severe. We have just repaired Fate Goo and can now use half of its might. But when I was about to enter Heaven Overseeing Tower, a sword light flew over and coincidentally cut it in half. But was it really a coincidence? Bai Chun Tian and Lin Jiusheng looked at each other, as their expressions became grave. I will not hide it from you. I have been getting this feeling too. Bai Chun Tian said heavily. But my feeling only started when we repaired Fate Goo. Lin Jiusheng also said. So it was not my feeling alone. I thought that my descendants had encountered trouble, causing me to have this feeling. Now it seems it is not so simple. Tower Lord, you are a wisdom path goo immortal, and you control Heaven Overseeing Tower. Your senses are sharper than ours. It seems that something is really going to happen. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord was still holding the healing immortal goo. Thus, I had to take a risk and try to heal this immortal goo. Even though this is not one of Heaven Overseeing Tower's core immortal goo, by saving it, we can resolve one of the biggest issues in Heaven Overseeing Tower's injuries at the moment. As long as we can fix the tower and use its might, Together with our instincts, we will be able to deduce the truth. Also, Bo Qing died under the tribulation back then. Why did he suddenly appear? Between the two, there seems to be some close connection. Next, I will continue to use this method to repair the other immortal goo. During this process, I need to concentrate, and I cannot be interrupted. If Fairy Tsang Shui sends any letters back, try to inform me as soon as possible. Bai Chun Tian and Lin Jiusheng nodded in agreement. Understood. Matters regarding Bo Qing's immortal zombie body continued to grow as time passed. There was a huge influence on Central Continent and Heavenly Court. Just as the Central Continent Gu immortals placed their sights on falling Heavenly River, Fang Yuan had already obtained the biggest benefits and was cultivating on Dang Hun Mountain at this moment. He was standing on Dang Hun Mountain's peak, waving a hand and sending out tens of thousands of souls. These souls were mostly beast souls, rabbit souls, goat souls, horse souls, and others were the most common. There were fewer wolf souls, tiger souls, and souls of other fierce beasts. There were plant souls too, but the type of souls in the fewest quantity were variant humans and humans. Actually, trade involving souls had long since existed, because in this world, there were many soul path Gu immortals. Soul path Gu worms had appeared since the immemorial era, but they had never formed into a path. Only upon the rise of a certain Gu immortal did soul path get created and flourish. This person was one of the 10 venerables in history, spectral soul demon venerable, that he was the creator of soul path, and had also single-handedly pushed soul path to its peak over history. During his era, out of 10 Gu masters, at least 5 chose to cultivate soul path. For the cultivation of soul path, the soul was the most important resource. Souls were common Gu refinement materials needed for the refinement of soul path Gu worms. In order to create soul path Gu worms, spectral soul demon venerable had engaged in massacre and slaughter to obtain countless souls. Thus, in history, he was also known as the venerable with the most murderous nature. And because he created the rise of soul path, it also made his era filled with endless killing. It was a dark time when the world was in unrest. Because many Gu masters and Gu immortals cultivated soul path, they needed to kill and gain souls for their cultivation resources. Thus, during that era, the trading of souls appeared. They were undergone openly and on a grand scale. After that, spectral soul died, and Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable appeared. This kind and merciful Immortal Venerable did not promote strife against others. He loved peace. Because of his experiences growing up, he knew the suffering of the commoners and understood the harm that spectral soul had caused. Thus, when he became an Immortal Venerable and was invincible in the world, one major accomplishment of his was to suppress soul path. Soul path Gu masters thus decreased in numbers, and trade involving souls was forced to be done underground. The 5 regions began to recuperate, and the killing subsided. The turbulence also gradually disappeared. What the people considered most memorable thing was, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable did not force people using strength. He won support from people with virtue and moved the world with his actions. Thus, up until today, even in Treasure Yellow Heaven, the largest and most free market in the world, the sale of souls was very rare. Fang Yuan souls were obtained by Fairy Li Shan and He Lu Lan. Ever since Fang Yuan and He Lu Lan cooperated, the matter of souls was dealt with by them. He saved a lot of trouble. They were well-connected locals of Northern Plains, especially Fairy Li Shan. She was the 3rd leader of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. She had Mountain Pledge Gu and had a huge network. These souls were immediately destroyed on Dang Hun Mountain. After the vibrations from Dang Hun Mountain, the souls were shattered and turned into countless soul essences that were fused into the mountain. Not long later, because of these souls, Dang Hun Mountain produced a new batch of Guts Gu. Normally speaking, the stronger the life form, the higher the quality of the soul. At the same time, the higher the intelligence of the life form, the higher the quality of the soul. This batch of souls is only average, because inside, there are few fierce beasts and no desolate beasts, with very few variant human and human souls. The Guts Gu generated will not be high in quantity. Fang Yuan estimated in his mind as he walked on Dang Hun Mountain. This batch of souls was not from Fairy Li Shan and He Lu Lan, but obtained by Fang Yuan that he was already different from in the past. He could obtain souls at a stable rate, without Fairy Li Shan or taking action by himself personally. They were obviously not from Treasure Yellow Heaven, but Western Desert. Western Desert was the place with the greatest trade economy in the 5 regions. Fang Yuan was no longer a newcomer there. He had worked with Shao Clan of Western Desert for some time. He had obtained their crucial token after gaining their recognition. Shao Clan was a super force. It was not hard for them to obtain souls. But if the soul transactions were exposed, Shao Clan would never admit they were involved. The trading of souls could not be done openly. Shao Clan was, after all, a righteous path super force. Fang Yuan bought souls from Western Desert in order to guard against He Lu Lan, Fairy Li Shan, and Blazing Heaven Demonis. Even though they had set an alliance agreement, that did not mean that Fang Yuan did not need to guard against them anymore. Fang Yuan knew how to defend himself against others, and he was even more adept at harming others. Fang Yuan suddenly attempting soul cultivation would definitely lead to the suspicions of Fairy Li Shan and He Lu Lan. Fang Yuan did not want to leave any clues for them. When he uses Guts Goo to cultivate, it would cause the quantity of Guts Goo to fall. To make up for this, he secretly placed souls in and filled the difference. The typically rare Guts Goo could be easily picked up at Fang Yuan's feet. Fang Yuan did exactly so. Once Guts Goo left Dang Hun Mountain, they would be destroyed. But using Air Sac Goo, they could be contained and sold. After consuming a huge amount of Guts Goo, Fang Yuan's soul reached its limit. If he raised it any further, his soul would collapse. Fang Yuan felt that his immortal zombie body was feeling quite tight, that it was like an adult man wearing clothes he wore when he was a teenager. Chapter 997. Refining Bo Qing's Immortal Goo. Chapter 997. Refining Bo Qing's Immortal Goo. Actually, the limit of immortal zombie bodies in containing souls was higher than normal living bodies. It was just that they lacked the aspect of nourishing the soul. Only living bodies could nourish souls. A dead corpse's soul would continue to wither. Guts Goo played the most important role in Fang Yuan's soul being able to last until now. Besides this, he also used some other soul path methods to nourish his soul. Although Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had brought disaster to the world, it was also because of him that soul path had dominated an era. Countless soul path experts emerged one after the other, innovating large numbers of soul path methods. Despite going through Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's era, until now, there are still large numbers of precious soul path methods that were passed down from generation to generation. I don't cultivate soul path. Soul path Goo immortals have soul path down marks which allow the body to hold an even stronger soul. After he reached the limit, Fang Yuan left to Immortal Blessed Land and moved to Star Form Blessed Land. Luopa Valley was placed here. Fang Yuan entered Luopa Valley. Luopa Valley had been modified by Shadow Sect and was in a completely different state. But Fang Yuan asked Tai by Yunsheng to restore it. Thus Luopa Valley had regained its original environment. Luopa Valley's terrain was complex like a maze. The Legends of Renzu stated, in the past, Renzu had been trapped in the maze, unable to find his way out. Right now, Fang Yuan imitated Renzu and walked inside Luopa Valley. He directly let his soul leave his body. A gray-white fog spread out. This was the famous bewilderment fog. Fang Yuan's soul was shrouded by the bewilderment fog, gradually diffusing. After the fog passed, cold wind blew. This was the famous Luopa wind. The cold wind was like a knife as it cut Fang Yuan's soul, inflicting countless injuries. The incomparable pain almost drove Fang Yuan mad. This pain stemmed from the very depths of the soul and was countless times more painful than death by dismemberment. Fang Yuan roared at the sky, but he lacked a physical body, so he could only produce a piercing screech from his soul. After enduring for a while, Fang Yuan realized he had once again reached his limit. He wisely chose to retreat, his soul returning to the immortal zombie body. With the immortal zombie body's protection, the bewilderment fog and the Luopa wind's might was immediately reduced by a large extent. Fang Yuan safely left Luopa Valley. He inspected his soul. After going through the bewilderment fog and the destruction by the Luopa wind, Fang Yuan's soul had shrunk by a large degree and was clearly heavily injured if he continued. Although it would not be severe to the extent where the soul dissipated, the enslaved Featherman Goo immortal Zhou Zhong might be able to get rid of the enslavement. The soul was the foundation of enslavement. When the soul is heavily injured, the enslavement would greatly weaken, and the enslaved party could have a chance to free themselves. I don't know how Rinzhu was able to stay for so long in Luopa Valley. Fang Yuan gave a moved sigh. Returning to Danghun Mountain, he continued to consume Guts Goo. Guts Goo was a mortal goo, but it was worthy of being a thing of legend. Using it to heal the soul's injuries would show instant effects. Soon, the injuries to Fang Yuan's soul completely recovered. Fang Yuan once again inspected his soul. His soul had condensed by at least one-fold. Moreover, his soul was smeared with something like oil that emitted a faint, eerie glow. Checking again, the burden on his soul from enslaving the Featherman Gu immortal Zhou Zhong was reduced by 30%. The inhuman torture and pain Fang Yuan suffered in Luopa Valley was worth it was because his soul's impurities were extracted in Luopa Valley, like iron that went through endless hammering and smelting before it finally turned to steel. His soul's quality had been elevated to another stage, and on Danghun Mountain, Guts Goo were continuously expended, which strengthened his soul at an unimaginable speed. The quantitative strength of the soul was increasing steadily. Luopa Valley refines the soul. Danghun Mountain strengthens the soul. Both quantitative and qualitative change are combined. The soul's foundation advances at a tremendous pace. It is so fast, no wonder in my previous life. After He Lulan and Fairy Lishan obtained Luopa Valley, they moved back and forth between Danghun Mountain and Luopa Valley, strengthening their soul foundation. They were cultivating freely. Fang Yuan sighed. He also wanted to imitate He Lulan and Fairy Lishan, but he still had many things to do. Right now, there was the most important matter he had to deal with. That was Etion Mountain's battle, and the immortal Gu House graceful chaotic duel staged, in no doubt. The stronger Fang Yuan becomes, the higher his chances of seizing graceful chaotic duel stage at the crucial time. Fang Yuan could only try to think of every possibility and make more appropriate arrangements for every task. He had to squeeze out every second of time, making every second count in his cultivation. Finally, Fang Yuan obtained news of the appearance of the immortal Gu House, graceful chaotic duel stage. What's going on? I made so many arrangements near Etion Mountain, but they actually disappeared without alerting me. Fang Yuan made time in his busy schedule, personally going to southern border to inspect, but he did not discover any worthwhile information. Like in his previous life, Etion Mountain displayed the ancient battle repeatedly, the intense battle. The mysterious Gu immortal with the red lotus mark on his forehead finally used the immortal Gu House graceful chaotic duel stage to suppress the rank 8 Gu immortal with the great strength true martial physique. This Gu immortal has a red lotus imprint on his forehead. Does he have any relation to Red Lotus Demon Venerable? My rebirth had failed, but in the river of time, a red lotus appeared out of nowhere and turned my failure to success, letting me rebirth. Is there some connection between the red lotus in the river of time and this mysterious Gu immortal? Fang Yuan was confused. He could only shake his head and leave that he still had many matters to arrange. Graceful chaotic duel stage had appeared, but there was still some time before the battle of Etion Mountain. At the very least, Fang Yuan needed to remove the aftereffects from enslaving the Featherman Gu immortal Zhou Zhong in this period of time. Cultivating back and forth on Danghun Mountain and in Luopa Valley, Fang Yuan's soul foundation was rising sharply, while Zhou Zhong's soul was still at its original stage. The burden from enslaving a Gu immortal has completely disappeared. I can now easily slip into Etion Mountain and secretly refine the immortal Gu House. The body nourishes the soul, while the soul brings about intelligence, producing thoughts, will, emotions, and promoting thought processes. The increase in his soul foundation would be very beneficial for Fang Yuan in refining the immortal Gu House graceful chaotic duel stage. Besides the aspect of the soul, if I can refine Bo Qing's sword path immortal Gu, it would be a huge increase to my battle strength. That would be even better. He had tried to refine all-out effort immortal Gu several times now, but had yet to succeed this time. Fang Yuan's rebirth plan had already reached the final juncture. He resolutely gave up on refining all-out effort immortal Gu, not continuing to invest in this sunk cost. During these last moments, Fang Yuan went all out in making preparations. Central continent. Immortal zombie Bo Qing left falling heavenly river and was slowly rising up. Under his feet, the surging waves and tides of falling heavenly river attacked the shore, engulfing the piled-up snow. Blood had already faded from the water, while countless ferocious beasts living in the river sensed Bo Qing's aura and scattered everywhere in panic. And in the riverbed of falling heavenly river, there were corpses of many Gu immortals. Only the rank 8 Gu immortal from heavenly core, by Tsang Shui, had luckily survived. I have lost many immortal Gu. My battle strength is reduced. Immortal zombie Bo Qing spoke in a low and deep voice. What's our next course of action? Right now, standing beside him was the owner of Starry Sky Grotto Heaven, Envoy Blue of Shadow Sect, Immortal Zombie 7-Star Child, as well as the Blood Path Demonic Immortal Song Zixing, also known as Blood Dragon, and the Hairy Man Refinement Path Gu Immortal Yu Mu Chun. Somehow, there was a difference in this situation as compared to the previous life, that I in the previous life. 7-Star Child and Song Zixing had died at Bo Qing's hands. But now, they were both alive. Perhaps this was because Fang Yuan had used Mo Yao's fake will to plunder Bo Qing's immortal zombie body. Song Zixing and Yu Mu Chun did not speak, letting 7-Star Child speak. Next, I, Song Zixing, and Yu Mu Chun will use an immortal killer move to transport the four of us to Central Continent's northeast region to attack Heavenly Lotus Sect. He had already made the arrangements that I in the previous life, 7-Star Child and Song Zixing had died. Only Yu Mu Chun was left behind, unable to activate this powerful immortal killer move. But now, it was different. I in Heavenly Court. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord was shocked and furious. He saw the four immortals with immortal zombie Bo Qing at the lead, battling as they headed towards one of the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent, Heavenly Lotus Sect. He was unable to keep watching from the sidelines, because he, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord, was a Gu immortal formerly from Heavenly Lotus Sect. I in Heavenly Lotus Sect, he had large numbers of disciples and descendants. Right now, immortal zombie Bo Qing had awakened. Heavenly Lotus Sect was in danger. Only Heavenly Court's Gu immortals could save them. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord flew out of Heaven Overseeing Tower, summoning Lian Jiusheng and Bai Chen Tian. An issue has occurred in Falling Heavenly River. Bo Qing revived as an immortal zombie and is attacking Heavenly Lotus Sect. We have to reinforce them now. The two immortals were extremely shocked. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's words contained information that was simply too hard to believe. Go. The two immortals were only stunned momentarily. Immediately after, they reacted and the three immortals used Heavenly Court's teleportation Gu formation and appeared at Heavenly Lotus Sect's base in a moment that this moment. Bo Qing and the rest had also just arrived. The remaining radiance of the teleportation immortal killer move on them had yet to dissipate. Both sides stared at each other, battle intent rising immediately. What's going on? Heavenly Lotus Sect's Gu Masters and Gu Immortals were puzzled. Fight. A battle of rank 8 suddenly erupted. Central Continent, Gu Immortal Blessed Land, an underground cave. Success. Fang Yuan looked at the Gu formation in front of him, his eyes shining with joy as well as regret. Over these last few days, he had used the light of wisdom to continuously ponder and deduce, obtaining a powerful Gu formation to refine Bo Qing's sword path Immortal Gu. This Gu formation actually used the light of wisdom as the core. It used Mo Yao's fake will along with the poison path Immortal Gu, Woman's Heart, and the wisdom path Immortal Gu, Unravel Mystery, to refine Bo Qing's Immortal Gu. Unfortunately, after using this Gu formation for 3 days, I could only refine one Immortal Gu. Moreover, I still don't know what use this Immortal Gu has. I can't wait any longer. The Battle of Etian Mountain has already begun. The earlier I can obtain the Immortal Gu house, the better. Undue delay might bring trouble. Chapter 998. Prematurely joining Etian Mountain. Southern border, Etian Mountain. Fang Yuan walked forward with big steps. His appearance had changed greatly. Huge bulging muscles, an exposed chest, thick hair over his head, chest, and beard, even along his legs. His hair was a muddy yellow color. His clothes were very tattered. His cheekbones were protruding. His fingers and toes all had extraordinarily huge joints. His nose bridge was short and stumpy. He had huge nostrils that contained thick hair. They were like open taps, gushing out together uncontrollably. Even though this appearance was ugly and disgusting, it was something that Fang Yuan had. Picked after careful consideration. In Fang Yuan's previous life, this person had come to Etion Mountain at this time. After rebirth, Fang Yuan secretly killed this person. Taking his place, Fang Yuan arrived at Etion Mountain. The sun had just risen. There was a thin fog. The scenery of Etion Mountain was still peaceful. There were birds chirping in the mountain's forest. This time, the righteous and demonic battle had not even started its first wave. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had disguised himself and joined Etion Mountain. By that time, Etion Mountain was already immersed in heated battles. There were even demonic path guards at the base of the mountain. But this time, Fang Yuan had arrived here several months early. This time, Xiaoshan had just been forced to leave his clan. He, Zhou Xingxing, and Sun Pang, who had just created Etion Village. Fang Yuan did not see any people as he walked. After getting partway up the mountain, he finally saw a glimpse of Etion Village from the crevices between the dense trees. Etion Village was still in the process of being built. It was not completed yet. Who is this? Which Gu Immortal's pawn is this? He doesn't resemble a pure human. He seems to have hairy man blood. This guy is a half-breed. Would anyone even choose him as a pawn? He. Far away, the southern border Gu Immortals discussed the matter of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan walked slowly, confidently, and calmly. In his previous life, he had used vaguely familiar face and was not exposed by these southern border Gu Immortals. Now that he was using an immortal killer move with attitude Gu as the core, familiar face, it was even more impossible for him to be exposed by them. He took big steps and went to the mountain peak. Soon, before he reached Etion Village, someone finally stopped him. It was a rank 3 demonic path Gu master. But Fang Yuan was also disguised as a rank 3, so he did not dare to be careless. He asked in a serious tone, "You are?" Fang Yuan cupped his fists, saying boorishly, "My name is Huang Sha. I heard about Hero Zhao's matter and came to join you." The other rank 3 demonic path Gu master's body shook. He was not intimidated by the name of Huang Sha. Instead, it was because Fang Yuan was too loud. "Okay, keep it down. Why are you shouting? Since you know about our leader's reputation, come with me to meet him." The rank 3 Gu master rubbed his ears as he turned around. Fang Yuan laughed as he quickly chased. He had a huge body. His steps were huge. He quickly surpassed the Gu master in front. The demonic path Gu master was unhappy. He stretched out his arm, pulling Fang Yuan. "Why are you running so quickly? If you want to join Etion Village, follow the rules, get it? I got here first, so my position is higher than yours. Follow behind me." Oh. Fang Yuan quickly nodded, pretending that he was all brawn and no brains. "This structure needs to be built properly. If anyone attacks us next time, we will defend from here. We need to set up at least 100 iron snake vine Gu." Xiaoshan pointed at a location and said this to a Gu master beside him. This time, someone shouted, "Leader, your fame spreads throughout southern border. Right now, a new warrior has joined us." Xiaoshan heard this and was overjoyed, turning around to see Fang Yuan. The joy in his mind faded a little as he felt disappointment. But at the same time, he showed a look of appreciation on his face. He quickly went forward, patting Fang Yuan's shoulders. "What a strong man." Fang Yuan laughed and cupped his fists. "You are Hero Xiao? I am here to join you. You are really brave. You dared to oppose those righteous path members." Saying so, Fang Yuan raised his thumb at Xiaoshan, saying, "With just this, I am in admiration towards you. I am willing to follow you, but you have to feed me 3 meals a day." Xiaoshan saw that Fang Yuan was boorish and uneducated. The disappointment inside him grew, but on the surface, he did not show it. He praised Fang Yuan as he arranged a mission for him. After Fang Yuan left, Xiaoshan called Zhou Xingxing, asking, "This Huang Sha, what is his background? I am not too clear about it." Zhou Xingxing thought about it and laughed. "Brother, what rank are you? There are so many people in this world. How can such a minor character attract your attention? I know this person. His father is human and his mother is a female hairy man. He was born as a slave collecting sand rocks on Sand Mountain. In the end, on Sand Mountain, He obtained an inheritance by chance and became a Gu master. Next, he and a water path Gu master occupied a territory, calling themselves the Baisha twin generals. Afterwards, they were defeated by Tai clan Gu masters. Bai Jiang died, while Huang Sha escaped, with his whereabouts unknown. To think that he came here after hearing brother's name. So that's it. I remember now. There was once a time when there was news about the Baisha twin generals assaulting Tai clan's merchant ships. Xiao Shan nodded. His expectations towards Fang Yuan fell to rock bottom. He even dared to touch Tai clan's ships. This showed that the Baisha twin generals were rash and boorish. They did not use their brains. Furthermore, this Huang Sha even had hairy man blood. This made Xiao Shan look down on him more. Hairy men, feathermen, snowmen, and other variant humans were all the slaves of humans. Why would human Gu masters treat them as equals? If Fang Yuan had rank 4 or 5 cultivation, Xiao Shan might have placed great emphasis on him and disregarded that point. But Fang Yuan was disguised as Huang Sha, who was only rank 3, even though rank 3 was higher than the average Gu master. But in Etian village, it was not eye-catching. Very soon, Xiao Shan forgot about this Huang Sha. Fang Yuan was at a worksite. Now, I have joined Etian Mountain and was sent by Xiao Shan to help in the building of the village. It shows that this person is not placing attention on me. Good. This is my motive after all. Everything has been very successful so far. If Fang Yuan had higher cultivation level, he would be given a major role by Xiao Shan. In the following righteous demonic battle, he would definitely be kept busy. If he did not go for the missions, he would expose himself. But if he went, he would be wasting time. That if his cultivation level was lower, he would be cannon fodder, sent to the front lines to attract the enemy's firepower and waste their primeval essence. After some battles, he would be sacrificed. Only with rank 3 cultivation level, it was neither high nor low, he could be the leader of a small group. He would not be given important missions, and if he survived in the battlefield, nobody would find it strange that Etian Mountain's Forbidden Zone only targeted immortal apertures. It did not affect immortal Gu. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had deduced a method on how to seal immortal apertures. But now, he had this method prepared in advance. He could join Etian village a few months earlier. Even though his immortal aperture was sealed, his body was still an immortal zombie body. During the day, he worked at the sites and easily did physical labor. At night, when everyone was asleep, he would be awake and refining graceful chaotic dual stage secretly. Graceful chaotic dual stage was suppressing the great strength true martial immortal zombie, not allowing any freedom. This rank 8 great strength true martial immortal zombie had no signs of life at all. It seemed like its soul had completely dissipated. But Fang Yuan had his previous life's memories. He did not dare to be careless. He did not probe the great strength true martial immortal zombie. He placed his efforts on refining the battle will. The southern border Gu immortals engaging in this gambling contest were trying to refine the battle will into their own. They needed these mortal Gu master pawns to engage in fierce combat, to create their own battle will and resonate with the immortal Gu house. They would then convert the pure battle will in the immortal Gu house into their personal battle will. But Fang Yuan came in person and was also a wisdom path grandmaster. He did not need to do so. Even if he did not fight fiercely, he could increase the battle will in his mind and convert the immortal Gu house's battle will. His efficiency was many times that of ordinary Gu immortals, that if someone turned all the battle will in the immortal Gu house into their own battle will, they would complete the unfinished last step of the rank 8 immortal zombie. That is, refining the immortal Gu house and becoming the true owner of the immortal Gu house. Thus, there was a key point needed for Fang Yuan to snatch graceful chaotic dual stage from these southern border Gu immortals to the final period of time. The immortal Gu house's pure battle will would be completely refined by everyone, but there can only be one winner. Thus, these battle wills had to engage in combat and undergo a terrifying battle. In this battle, any loser would vanish. There would only be one winner. I am a wisdom path grandmaster. I have a huge advantage in a fight between battle wills. Furthermore, I am going to take the lead and refine battle will at many times the speed of others. The more battle will I convert, the bigger my advantage during the battle will contest. As long as I follow my plan, it is assured that I would obtain the immortal Gu house. But there might be unexpected surprises. While Fang Yuan was pondering, the other southern border Gu immortals were also harboring their own intentions. Shao Clan's supreme elder was paying close attention to the developments on Etian Mountain. He had barely survived his last tribulation. The next one was approaching. He had lost all hope initially, but the appearance of the immortal Gu house graceful chaotic dual stage gave this Gu immortal see the light of hope within the darkness. Thus, in this unprecedented gambling contest, he went all in on his bets. Almost all of his wealth was invested into it. His stake was the highest among the immortals. According to the rules, one of his pawns, Shao Shan, became the first Gu master to ascend Etian Mountain. Shao Clan's supreme elder also became the first Gu immortal in southern border to start refining battle will in the immortal Gu house. I must succeed in obtaining the immortal Gu house. I cannot fail. Without this immortal Gu house, in the following tribulation, I will definitely die. Chapter 999. Chess piece, chess player. But looking at it now, I have made a good start. I have converted the highest amount of battle will. As long as I maintain this advantage, the immortal Gu house is mine. Shao Clan's supreme elder spurred himself on secretly, but he was also aware internally. The biggest difficulty was in maintaining his current advantage. According to the rules, the second to take the stage was the pawn of a Wu clan Gu immortal, Wu Dangji. This female immortal from Wu clan was an insightful character. She chose someone with lower cultivation level as the cost of entering Etian Mountain earlier. Hopefully, Shao Shan does not disappoint me later. Shao Clan's supreme elder's wish was something that the other southern border Gu immortals were unwilling to see happen. Right now, Shao Clan's ancestor had created a huge advantage. The southern border Gu immortals wanted to see Shao Shan defeated or even killed, so that the advantage of Shao Clan's ancestor would be gone, and they would have an opportunity. Wu Xintong arrived near Etian Mountain. Everyone, I bear a mission of utmost importance to the clan. To exterminate evil, we will pay any cost. He pointed at Etian Mountain. His expression was stern as his intent to fight surged, along with his battle will. Around him were many Gu masters. Among them, those with the highest cultivation were 3 rank 4 Gu masters. Point 1 was a Wu clan elder, guarding Wu Xintong. The other 2 were clan leaders of villages that were subordinates of Wu clan. Wu Xintong was a rank 4 peak stage enslavement path Gu master. He was thin and had a pale face. He coughed from time to time. Like a sickly scholar, he could not even stand in the cold winds for long. But nobody dared to look down on him, because he cultivated enslavement path. This path allowed him to fight many people single-handedly. On Etian Mountain, the strongest person is Shao Clan's former leader Shao Shan. Below him are Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing, 2 demonic path Gu masters. These 3 are all rank 5 Gu masters. In my opinion, we should act slowly, inviting more righteous path members to join us. This will make the battle more assured, and we can prevent these demons from escaping as well. A rank 4 clan leader suggested that Wu Shantong's expression turned grim. He wanted to do this too, but this mission was a forced mission by the clan. They had given him a certain timing. It was so strict and rushed, Wu Shantong could not help but suspect that he had become a sacrifice in a political conflict of his clan. He exerted all of his effort and used his network to recruit all of these people around him. Wu Shintong would not understand the truth of Etian Mountain even after death. All these high and mighty Gu masters were all merely the tools of the Gu immortals gambling contest. He certainly did not know, at this point in time, how many southern border Gu immortals were placing their attention on him. You do not need to say anymore. As long as everyone protects me, even if they have rank 5 battle strength, how long can they last against the beasts? Once their primeval essence is expended, the accomplishment of killing a rank 5 will be all yours. Furthermore, I am going personally. I have some confidence, of course. Why would I send myself to die? Wu Shentong was a skilled person. With just a few words, he dispelled everyone's suspicions and raised the group's morale. They moved quickly. They were trying a sneak attack that a moment later, the mountain was covered in beast groups. Under Wu Shentong's manipulation, they charged towards Etian Mountain. Right now, Etian village was still being built. The demonic Pathgu masters were all in chaos. They were used to fighting alone. Even though Xiao Shan was trying to group his men together and organize them, there was little effect in the short term. Xiao Shan was extremely anxious, he thought. Etian village has just been built. We are only partway through completion. This is my first fight against the righteous path. Etian village is like a banner. It cannot fall. Once it falls, our morale will suffer. It is like a heavy blow that will make us falter forever, losing our reputation. Who would come here and join me? Thinking of this, Xiao Shan immediately ordered the demonic path Gu masters to defend Etian village with their lives. Xiao Shan's thoughts were very precise, but he greatly overestimated the ability of the demonic path Gu masters to cooperate. If demonic path Gu masters fought righteous path Gu masters one-on-one, they usually won more than they lost. But when there were many people, if they had even numbers, the righteous path usually won. Without any cooperation, the demonic path Gu masters were just a mob. Against the huge beast groups, they did not place priority on defending the strategic points. This was what Wu Xintong most wanted to see. Initially, large numbers of wild beasts died from the demonic path Gu masters' attacks. But soon, the demonic path Gu masters' attacks became more sparse. After all, mortal Gu masters had limited primeval essence. The wild beasts charged past the attacks of the demonic path Gu masters and assaulted them. The demonic path Gu masters suffered heavier and heavier losses. The battle was tilting in favor of the righteous path. Good. Great. The southern border Gu immortals watched the battle as they showed expressions of joy. Xiao Clan's ancestor had a dark expression. He stared at Xiao Shan fixedly. Xiao Shan was a veteran of the battlefield. He knew that the situation could not go on. He shouted, "Rank 4 and 5 experts, come with me and kill the enslavement path Gu master. Everyone else, retreat while you battle." In the current situation, the demonic path was suffering terrible losses. Meanwhile, although the righteous path was few in numbers, they did not lose anyone. Everyone knew that fighting alone would not result in a good ending. Only by relying on one another and carving out a path of blood could they survive. Xiao Shan's words received quick response. The rank 4 and 5 Gu masters were all secretly joyful and gathered around Xiao Shan. The remaining rank 2 and 3 Gu masters, however, all had pale expressions. The people who charged out were strong. No matter what, if they managed to get out of the encirclement, they could escape alone. But the Gu masters who stayed back were surrounded by beast groups. There was nowhere they could go. They could only await reinforcements. Only Fang Yuan, despite having an anxious and ferocious expression, had peace of mind. Even if the beast groups expanded by 100 times, they were no threat to him. Furthermore, he had the knowledge of his previous life. He knew what was going to happen as expected. The following developments were almost the same as in his previous life to end this sudden fight. The demonic path Gu masters fought against the waves of beast groups and moved forward, causing many Gu masters to die along the way. But eventually, they managed to get to Wu Xintong. Xiao Shan, Sun Panghu, and Zhou Xingxing were rank 5 Gu masters. They were forced into a desperate situation. They had to attack the righteous path. After an intense battle, 2 rank 4 Gu masters from the righteous path died, while Wu Xintong retreated with heavy injuries. The other rank 4 elder from Wu clan blocked them desperately. At the crucial moment, a group of flying birds came and saved Wu Xintong from the demonic path's objective of killing him. They had no choice but to return to Etian Mountain. That night, Xiao Shan gathered the remaining demonic path members in a certain cave that he was bathed in blood. His eyes were bloodshot as he called out in a hoarse voice, "Wu Xintong is not dead yet. He is truly a threat. As long as he is alive, we will face the threat of an unceasing tide of beasts. We need to kill him, otherwise, Etian village will never be built." Xiao Shan had just finished his words, but there was little response. The demonic path Gu masters had suffered a loss. Their morale was low. Among them, a rank 3 Gu master said dejectedly, "Leader, we should retreat. The righteous path is very powerful. It is normal that we cannot win. But we can always fight back another day. We should leave this dangerous place and find another mountain to rebuild Etian village. That is possible too." As he said that, a sharp light flashed in Xiao Shan's eyes as he stood up and attacked. He raised his saber and killed the demonic path Gu master on the spot, shouting, This person is trying to shake our spirit. He deserves death. If anyone dares to request to retreat, you will end up like him." Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing immediately stood up, walking to either side of Xiao Shan. With wary expressions towards everyone, the Gu masters were all stunned by Xiao Shan's demeanor. They quickly spoke and agreed to battle to the death. Xiao Shan's expression relaxed. "I know that everyone is having a hard time. There are injuries. But no injury can compare to our brothers who have sacrificed themselves today, right? Everyone, rest in this cave today. Tomorrow, we will gather our forces and fight on the path to killing Wu Xintong. We will not rest until he is dead." Everyone quickly responded. Fang Yuan was among them. His wounds were still bleeding, but of course, it was a disguise. The night sky grew darker. The mountain cave was not big. There was not much space for the demonic Pathgu masters to sleep. This was a cave that Xiao Shan specially chose. It was easy for them to monitor each other. If they needed to use the toilet, they had to do it in the cave. Soon, the cave was filled with the disgusting smell of blood, sweat, urine, and feces mixed together. The demonic Pathgu masters were tossing and turning, thinking about the desperate battle tomorrow. They could not sleep. Only one person was sleeping soundly. It was Fang Yuan. His snoring could be heard in the entire cave. Xiao Shan was shutting his eyes and resting. Hearing this sound, he opened his eyes and saw Fang Yuan. He smiled lightly and said loudly, "This guy has no worries." His voice attracted everyone's attention. Xiao Shan continued, "Don't worry, everyone. I have complete confidence in tomorrow's battle. That Wu Xintong has already been severely injured. He is definitely going to die tomorrow. I, Xiao Shan, swear that I will not run away. If I go against my word, may heaven bring judgment upon me, and may the world shake in anger." The demons were inspired. They were in admiration towards Xiao Shan's enthusiasm and aspiration. But they did not know that Xiao Shan was trying to subdue the immortal Gu in his body and obtain the acknowledgement of Xiao clan's ancestor. Unless he had no choice, he would never retreat from here. Xiao Shan thought of these demonic Pathgu masters in the cave as his chess pieces. In contrast, he was a chess piece of Xiao clan's ancestor, but he did not know. On this night, the chess player, Xiao clan's ancestor, was also feeling anxious and worried. After the fight today at Etian Mountain, he had left his place of residence, arriving at a mountain peak. He stood for a long time under the winds of the mountain. "Master, Xiao clan's ancestor has requested to meet you, but you have not agreed to it. He is a rank 7 Gu immortal. He has already been outside for 2 hours. Won't it be bad if we continue dragging it on?" Lu Feng asked carefully and softly. Chapter 1000. Changes beyond expectations. His master, rank 7 lone cultivator old man Yuxia, was sitting cross-legged on a mat. He remained unmoved and had his eyes closed, even after hearing Lu Feng's words. After a long while, Xiao clan's ancestor spoke again from outside the cave. "Brother Yuxia, I am willing to add in 10 heavenly dragon pearls. Please help me." Old man Yuxia slowly opened his eyes and said to Lu Feng, "Disciple, go to Etian Mountain and solve this crisis for Xiao Shan." Lu Feng hurriedly knelt down and kowtowed 3 times to old man Yuxia. "Master, this disciple shall leave." Although he said this, Lu Feng was still kneeling down on the ground and did not show any signs of getting up. Old man Yuxia smiled. "Your crafty nature, I can see right through it." He then blew cold air towards Lu Feng. The cold air seeped into Lu Feng's belly and lingered there without dispersing. "This immortal Gu can protect you. Go now." Lu Feng was joyous, kowtowing 3 more times before getting up and cheekily speaking. "I was actually thinking in the interests of Master. As a disciple, losing my life is not important, but then Master would have no one to serve him. What to do then? Master has shown me great benevolence. I still haven't returned it, so how could I die so easily? Go now, go." Old man Yuxia sighed, repeatedly waving his hand at Lu Feng. That Wu Xintong led the beast group to attack Etian Mountain. Etian Village, which only had its foundations constructed, was destroyed. The demonic side's morale fell sharply. Xiao Shan was determined to fight back to the death. But on that very evening, the rank 5 Gu master Lu Feng infiltrated the Righteous Path's camp and assassinated Wu Xintong, bringing his head back to Etian Mountain. Xiao Shan was ecstatic. saying to Lu Feng, "Brother Lu is magnanimous. Thanks to Brother Lu, all of us were saved." Lu Feng was a quick-witted person, immediately cupping his fists, replying in a cordial manner, "Brother Xiao exaggerates. I only took advantage of an opportunity. If not for Brother Xiao and the other comrades fighting with all you have and inflicting heavy injuries to Wu Xintong, how could I have easily taken his life? Out of the total contribution, I can only account for 10%, and the other 90 would go to everyone here." When they heard such words, everyone immediately had a much better impression of Lu Feng. Xiao Shan's heart sank. He was not able to ruin Lu Feng's fame by overpraising him, so he quickly changed his words to stabilize and pull Lu Feng to Yitian village. Like this, the Righteous Path's first wave of offense collapsed under the attacks of Xiao Shan, Lu Feng, and the rest. Fang Yuan was staying on the sidelines, not caring any less about this situation, viewing it coldly with the stance of a bystander and not provoking any doubts. He thought of the information gathered during his previous life. It seems in this life as well, due to Wu Xintong being heavily injured and Xiao Shan's situation being critical, Xiao clan's ancestors sought Old Man Yuxia's help. This Old Man Yuxia is a well-known lone immortal of southern border, with some friction against Wu clan. And with Xiao clan's ancestor giving him heavy payment, he was able to increase his wager, letting Lu Feng enter Yitian Mountain early on. And the female immortal from Wu clan, Wu Dangji, had lost her chess piece because of this scheme. Although she had refined much of the battle will, her loss was the greatest. Righteous and demonic paths are fighting on Yitian Mountain, but the masterminds are the southern border Gu immortals behind them. Mortals are like ants. Let them continue scheming against each other. After this battle, the amount of battle will I have refined has already surpassed Xiao Shan, becoming the highest. Like this, Fang Yuan was silently earning a fortune. The battle will he refined secretly continued to grow, but no one noticed. Time passed. The second wave of the righteous and demonic battle erupted. After the first wave of offense, in which Wu Dangji suffered a loss, she was still unreconciled. Old Man Yuxia had increased his wager. How could she not do that as well? Therefore, she chose another person and allied with a Shang clan Gu immortal, not repeating the previous mistake of fighting. Alone at the battlefield on Yitian Mountain, Wu clan's Gu masters attacked Yitian Mountain. At the same time during this attack, Shang clan's two newly advanced elders, Yin Tu and Zhu Kai Bei, also joined. Both sides fought at the base of Yitian Mountain, having some wins and losses on either side. They were in a deadlock. This time, Lan Meihe and Fei Yuan ascended the mountain, joining Yitian village. These two Gu masters were not simple. They were famous flying masters in the world of southern borders Gu masters. Yitian village thus had the upper hand, and the Righteous Path members were forced back to resist Lan Meihe and Fei Yuan. The Righteous Path invited a female Gu master, Hong Fei Yu. She was also a flying master, but belonged to the Righteous Path. But Hong Fei Yu alone could not resist the combination of two flying masters of the demonic path. Hong Fei Yu was at the moment between life and death. When Shang clan's reinforcements rushed and arrived, it was the White Light swordsman Wei Yang. Wei Yang had been nurtured by Shang Yanfei and had his aptitude raised. His cultivation level was at rank 4 initial stage. Not only did he save Hong Fei Yu, he even gained much fame. After Hong Fei Yu was heavily injured and retreated, he fought against both Lan Meihe and Fei Yuan, eventually managing to stall for enough time until more reinforcements from the Righteous Path came, as Lan Meihe and Fei Yuan were forced to retreat. After this battle, Wei Yang was acknowledged by both the righteous and demonic paths, joining the ranks of the Flying Masters. Southern Border's 3 famous Flying Masters became 4 famous Flying Masters, with Wei Yang at the top. With Wei Yang's addition, the righteous and demonic battle entered another deadlock once again. However, as Second Zombie King entered Yitian Mountain, Enslavement Path showed its might again. The Righteous Path lacked Wu Shentong and had no choice but to fall back. Thereupon, the second righteous and demonic fight came to an end. Behind the scenes of this were the Southern Border Gu immortals plotting and conspiring. Naturally, the mortal Gu masters could not imagine it. The only one who was in the know on Yitian Mountain, Fang Yuan, was secretly earning a fortune, disregarding all of this. With Huangsha's identity, he had gone on the battlefield and had encountered Wei Yang face to face. This expert under Shang, Yin Fei had once taken great care of Fang Yuan and Bai Ning Bing when they were in Shangclan City. Right now, Wei Yang's growth was large. Fang Yuan, however, was already an immortal. It could be said that times had changed. After this battle, Fang Yuan was already way ahead in the amount of battle will refined. The lead was so huge that even if all the southern border Gu immortals added up their refined battle wills, it would still be slightly less than Fang Yuan's. Central continent, Heavenly Lotus sect, rumble, explosions resounded without an end. All the surroundings within an enormous area had turned into a desolate land, sand rolling and covering the sky. In the desolate land were many deep craters, some burned with fire, some had piles of ice, some was still letting out rumblings of thunder. A river of blood flowed wantonly in this battlefield. Because of the battle between rank 8s, the original mountainous terrain had completely changed. This was the location of Heavenly Lotus sect, and also home to famous mountains and rivers, possessing profound natural Tao marks. Otherwise, the landscape would be even more severely ruined. After a round of battle stopped, with Sword Immortal Bo Qing at the lead, Shadow Sect's group retreated by some distance. Panting roughly, in front of them were 3 immortal Gu houses hovering in the air. One was Canary Pavilion, which was delicate and exquisite. Another was Yuyang Palace, which shined with brilliant radiance. However, the gazes of Shadow Sect's group were focused on the central immortal Gu house. This immortal Gu house was rank 8, named Heavenly Pool. Looking from the outside, this was a pool with a small area. It could even be said to be among the world's smallest immortal Gu houses. But this heavenly pool was filled with green lotuses. Some were in full bloom, while some were closed. However, in every lotus was a blessed land or grotto heaven. The rank 8 immortal Gu house, Heavenly Pool, was the base of Heavenly Lotus sect, created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. Its greatest use was to store immortal apertures. If we can't take down Heavenly Pool, these losses to Heavenly Lotus sect can't even be considered to be harming them. Song Zixing said heavily, but it is too difficult to take down. Among the 10 venerables, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable was most specialized in healing and recovery. This Heavenly Pool has inherited his style to an exaggerated degree. If it is not broken apart in one attack, it can recover any severe losses in a short period of time. Yu Mu Chun was solemn. Immortal Zombie 7-Star Child shook his head. Not only Heavenly Pool, the other 2 immortal Gu houses are also very difficult to handle. And Bo Qing's greatest weakness is already known and being used by them. Immortal Zombie Bo Qing's greatest weakness was Mo Yao's remnant soul. This remnant soul was the biggest shortcoming. Its greatest flaw was that it was very easy to target. In the previous life, Bo Qing had died, and the soul inside was destroyed by Heavenly Court's Gu immortals. This life, Immortal Zombie Bo Qing had even lost Wisdom Sword Gu, which had been a trump card against Wisdom Path methods when he was alive. After losing this Gu, Immortal Zombie Bo Qing had to be even more cautious when fighting and was extremely passive. Let's go. We have already achieved our goal of delaying them. Immortal Zombie 7-Star Child retreated first, his body turning into a rainbow light, quickly flying far away. Bo Qing and the rest also followed closely behind, escaping the judgment of fate and attacking one of the 10 great ancient sects. Such audacity. This is unpardonable. And you still want to leave? Heavenly Lotus sect's 3 immortal Gu houses chased after them. From within Heavenly Pool came Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's furious voice. 7-Star Child's expression changed slightly, saying to the other Gu immortals, in the current situation, someone has to bring up the rear and hold them off until the others can escape. I will do it. Immortal Zombie Bo Qing immediately spoke. It is better if I do it. Azure, Blue and Song Zixing, you all have higher battle strength than me. You will be a lot more helpful to our crucial plan. Yu Mu Chun had an indifferent expression while he volunteered to stay behind. The other 3 immortals' gazes flashed, and they quickly retreated without hesitation, leaving behind Yu Mu Chun to cover their retreat. Overestimating your ability. Hee, demonic path people specialize in treachery. You think you can stop us? What gives you such blind confidence? The righteous path immortals angrily called out one after the other. The three immortal Gu houses nearing, that Yu Chun looked at the approaching death calmly and with a smile. You think we haven't made any arrangements? Saying this, he fell to the ground. An enormous Gu formation gave a brilliant flash of light that reached to the sky. The information about this battle was simply unable to be concealed by Central Continent. After Fang Yuan learned of the news, his gaze flickered. This event was already very different from his previous life. Immortal zombie Bo Qing was still alive. As such, he would naturally hold animosity against Fang Yuan, who had stolen his immortal Gu. Fang Yuan sent his consciousness inside his sealed immortal aperture, and there was a mysterious immortal Gu. This immortal Gu was one of the harvests Fang Yuan had reaped from Bo Qing's immortal zombie body. But in fact, this immortal Gu's original owner was not Bo Qing, but Mo Yao. Because this immortal Gu's body was filled with Mo Yao's will, Fang Yuan was able to quickly refine this immortal Gu using Mo Yao's fake will.as for the other sword path immortal Gu. Their true owner was Bo Qing, with large amounts of his will in them. So when Fang Yuan used the same Gu formation, it would take a lot more time to refine these immortal Gu. I can forget about these sword path immortal Gu for now. They definitely cannot be used in this battle. As for this mysterious immortal Gu, I have tried to inspect it over these last days, but unfortunately, I did not gain anything even from Langya Land Spirit's End. At present, the sixth wave of offense between righteous and demonic has already passed. The scale of my battle will in the immortal Gu house probably is already over 30 times the total amount of the battle will of the southern border Gu immortals. If I battle with them at this time, within less than 15 minutes, I can clear out all their battle will. There were probably many among the southern border Gu immortals who had wisdom path attainment. But so what? Not to mention Fang Yuan's wisdom path grandmaster level. Just based on the scale of the battle will, he already occupied absolute dominance. The southern border Gu immortals already had no chance of victory. It could be said that these Gu immortals were already of no concern. But Fang Yuan was still filled with worry. I have refined it for so long, but there is actually still pure battle will remaining in the immortal Gu house. I wonder what quantity are there exactly. Can I make it in time? Fang Yuan looked up at the sky. The night was dark and hazy. Fang Yuan felt somewhat stifled. The amount of pure battle will in graceful chaotic duel stage had greatly surpassed Fang Yuan's expectations. His original plan was to get this immortal Gu house earlier on and leave freely. But now, it had already dragged on until this day. When would he finish?